Wow, check out that sharp drop off right there. Got some bait hanging right there on it. See if we can find us a piece of structure. He sucked it in there. Come on out of there, sickle. Nice little fish. Keeper fish, but probably gonna just do catch and release today. So good morning to you. So I'm starting off with the 10-foot Denali Prime, 1 3/4 lemon lime stinger tail with a 1/8 head limits tackle. Those of you that are not real familiar with Livescope, there are a couple things that I see that, since I'm guiding now, I see that my clients struggle with a little bit. Good fish. Good fish. Good fish. Oh yeah, good fish. Wow. Pink, green shark. Started out with doing a catch and release. You fish just out of control. Nice one. Bam! Just back to back to back. Hey y'all, as you can see, these fish are on a feeding frenzy. First, let me thank you for the time that you've taken to sit back and watch this video. And as you know, I'm going to put some helpful tips in here to help you guys get out and get on some fish. On these shots that you can see, where I'm dropping my jig. As you see, it is very important to get that jig down there and get it near the fish and entice that fish into biting. There is a very limited time. These boats don't have a park, so you have to get that jig down there while you can see. If you want to see it, get your jig close. You have to do it really quick and making those adjustments, and then enticing the fish once your jig get close to it. Sometimes you can just get your jig, near that fish and he knows it's there. Other times it seems like they're down there asleep. And as you can see, these fish sometimes hold very close to that structure. And sometimes it even seems like they're laying on it. So even if you have Livescope, you really have to watch it to determine the fish from the structure. There are just so many things that are going through my mind as I'm out fishing. And it's just different things that you have to do to get these fish to bite a jig. I'm often asked, do I use minnows? And it's not about a meat haul for me out there. It's about the challenge of making these fish bite something that's not real. And it's just more exciting to me to catch them on jigs, and jigs work several times better than minnows because you can get that jig in places that you can't put a minnow, because a minnow's going to get you tangled up. And to get good with fishing with jigs, all you have to do is just keep them wet. Have confidence that what you're doing is going to work, and you will build your confidence up on catching these fish with jigs. Very important that if you want to use Livescope, to learn how to get that jig in view of your transducer with the narrow beam that this Livescope has. And it takes practice. Don't go out and think that you're just going to automatically be able to do that. One thing that I will put in here and let you guys know is that if you lose your jig, the thing to do is get that jig up in the water column. Get it up away from the structure to where you can see your jig. If you're down there close to some of that structure, sometimes it's really hard or impossible in some cases to see that jig. So if you're having an issue with seeing your jig, hey, raise it up in the water column so that you'll be able to to see it. Here's one of those old fish that want to eat that jig, but there's just something that's just not right for them. And sometimes if I have time on low wind days, I'll grab another rod and drop another color, possibly a smaller bait down there in front of them. But sometimes those fish, hey, it's not even worth the time to make those changes. They are just not going to eat. And as you see here, I'm just leaving that fish because, hey, he just wasn't in the mood, and there were so many other fish that were there to bite. But I'm gonna pack things up and make a move. Those of you that have issues with power on your units, I'm not for sure if you know, but if you hit that power button, there is a sleep mode on these Garmin's, and all you have to do is hit your just push that power button, and don't hold it, just click it. Click that power button, and there's 3 options that'll pop up, and right there at the top you'll be able to put that unit to sleep so you can conserve some battery power. Let's make a move. We're gonna find another area and see if we can't put the smack down on them. There are so many times that I get out here on the water and just kick back and enjoy the sounds and the scenery, and catching almost becomes second nature. Okay, well not really, but it is important that I kick back and that everybody take in the surroundings, take in your surroundings, and you'll enjoy your catching trips a lot more. Another thing that I'm gonna lay out here is I know you see me zooming in on these fish and they're thumping that jig pretty good, but there are times that those fish just will not hit that jig very aggressively, and having a sensitive rod, and it's the reason why I use braid, because it just gives me that added sensitivity on those light bite days, and those light bite days happen often. There are days where a negative hit will be just about all you get, and what I've seen while using Livescope is on those light bite days, a lot of times those fish will shoot up from the structure and hit that jig and hit up on it. So if you don't have a really sensitive rod, it could impair your ability to feel those light bites.
And caught well over a limit on that bait.
I must tell you, Steve over there at Limits Tackle has put together a formula for his plastic baits that just simply last. They work and they last. He used great bright colors, and they just simply work. And if you do happen to have some or get some, it's best not to use a hook that have that big old lead barb on it, because these baits don't work well with those type of hooks. You do better using a plain head with these baits that he has.
So, like I've always said, just moving, picking the lake apart. That's all you gotta do. It's almost simple.
Almost simple, I say. Huh. Yeah, some days are like that.
It's just back to back. Drop down there and set the hook, y'all. Drop down there and set the hook.
I gotta give old Mad Fishing over there a shout out. I very seldomly mention him, but that braid that he has, that Mad braid, is just some awesome stuff, and it fish a lot like mono. And there's not a lot of braids you can say that you can do that with, and it definitely helps give that added sensitivity. And it's also available at Limits Tackle. I mentioned having a sensitive rod a while ago, and what I'm using here right now is a Denali 10-foot in the heavy action, and I've pounded these rods so much. I mean, I slang these fish in the boat. I set the hook like a madman, and these things just hold up. I hadn't had any issue with them breaking. I'm going to switch out right here and use a Genco Kevin Rogers. This is a 13-foot rod, and I've been pounding it also, and it's holding up really well. And it's a pretty sensitive rod. If you need a longer rod, this 13-foot here does really well. And those old BnM rods that I've been using for forever, they work fairly well too. But having confidence in your equipment is so important, and it just helps you be able to enjoy your day out catching these crappie that much better. So guys, if you haven't watched part 1 to this series, I highly recommend that you take the time to take a look and listen on that vid also. I put some valuable info and tips in that video that will help you put more and bigger fish in your boat. I know I'm putting out a lot of these videos talking about this Livescope right now, but if you can't afford it, let me tell you, it's not a must-have. It is a lot of fun to fish with. It gives you instant info on the reaction of the fish to what you're dropping in front of them, and the action you're giving your bait. And if you ask me, it's worth every single penny that they're getting for it. But I've fished for these fish for years and have caught crappie for years without Livescope, so it's not a must-have. It is a lot of fun, but I'd like to take this time to thank you for watching this video. Hopefully it's something that will help you put more and bigger fish in your boat, and something that will be good enough that you'll be able to help me out by hitting that subscribe button. Until next time, guys, get out, wet your line, and let's catch these fish together. Thanks for watching.